Kashmiri, let us know when you start the recording.
Yes. Yeah, it just started. Yes. Okay.
I request my students to introduce, sir.
And one thing before, like say, you can make like say brief introduction, like say, though I have given a little bit. So just maybe 2-3 sentences, that will be enough.
Okay, sir.
Yeah. Okay. During discussion, we can discuss if somebody is interested to know more. Then.
Okay, sir.
Yeah. All right.
Jayant.
Yes, ma'am. Good evening, everyone. On behalf of AICTE Training and Learning Academy and Bharatiya Vidya Bhavan Sardar Patel College of Engineering, our Chairman Board of Governor, Dr. Sesha Iyer, Principal in Charge, Dr. Mohan Murudi, FDP Co-Coordinator, Dr. Shamli Solanki, FDP Co-Coordinator, Dr. Kiran Bhole, sir, I, Jayant Khodke, extend a warm welcome to you all on the 6th day of this AICTE's 2-week hybrid faculty training program on stress management, art of living, and effective communication. We have had very wonderful session this week by our expert speakers on different important topics. Now, I request Minham to introduce our today's speaker.
Thank you, Jayant. Our speaker for today is Dr. Azizuddin Khan. Dr. Khan is currently a professor in psychophysiology and cognitive psychology at the Department of Humanities and Social Sciences at IIT Bombay. He is heading Psychophysiology Laboratory. He was a visiting faculty at the Department of Psychology, University of Jyväskylä, Finland, from August 2004 to December 2005. Aligarh Muslim University, Aligarh, 2015 to 17. Department of Psychology, University of Warsaw, Poland, 2018. He has research interest in the field of mental health, depression, environmental psychology, polar research, developmental neuropsychology, emotion regulation, prospective memory, and developmental dyslexia by using biofeedback and electropsychological methods. Dr. Khan has done his graduation and post-graduation from Aligarh Muslim University with first division in 1993 and 1995 respectively. He has qualified UGC NET Junior Research Fellowship in December 1998, conducted by the University Grant Commission, New Delhi. He has completed his PhD from IIT Kanpur on the topic of temporal aspects of prospective and retrospective memory. In 2006, he has also worked as researcher at the Department of Psychology, University of Jyväskylä, Finland, from August 2004 to March 2005. Dr. Khan is an eminent psychologist, prolific writer, and author of many books. He is credited with two books, Prospective Memory, Realization of Delayed Intention, and Clinical Child Psychology. He is recipient in several visiting researcher fellowships such as DAAD, INSA, EMINTE, ICSSR, etc. Dr. Khan has published more than 6 peer-reviewed international journals, especially in the field of emotion regulation and developmental disorders. We welcome you, sir.
Thank you, Minham. So, and good evening to everybody.
Good evening, sir.
Yeah. So, is it that paper is visible? Yeah. So I.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you. Let me see.
So you can put it on a slide.
Yeah. So actually, when I can, is it okay if I can switch off the video? Or
yes.
Yeah. Okay. Then I think I'll be. Yeah. Is that okay?
Yet, sir? Not yet?
Not yet? But here it's okay.
If it is visible, but it is not on the slideshow.
Actually, it is on slideshow. Let me check again. Now?
Sir, it is visible. I think it is okay, sir. Let it be like.
No, but here it is in.
Yes, sir, we can see the slide. We can see the slide.
No, just one second. How comes? should be okay, but
Ankit, can you help, sir?
no, I think it should be okay.
Yes, sir, this is okay, sir.
Ma'am, the slide is visible properly actually.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir, it is visible, sir.
Here it is like in slide mode, but I don't know why.
So you might have shared the tab instead of sharing the entire screen. If you share the entire screen, it will show in the slideshow mode.
Okay. No, it's not tab.
It is visible, sir.
It's a window.
So instead of that, just select share entire screen. In that case, your slideshow will be visible.
Okay. Moment. Yes, I think it should work. Now?
Yes, sir. Now it is in the slideshow mode.
Yeah, all right. Okay, so sorry for the delay. Good evening to everybody. And as slide shows that today I'm going to talk about personal effectiveness and confidence learning, but mostly I will be talking about personal effectiveness and stress management, time management, and to some extent, like say the other components of personal effectiveness. I would urge all of you that if you like say there is no, you shouldn't hesitate, that you should not ask in between, and let's make a little bit more interactive, and so that like we in a way this kind of sessions we understand each other and mostly ourselves. So if there is a question answer, or if there is a kind of interaction from both sides, learning will be more effective. And we are talking about this personal effectiveness as well. So in this like session, I'm going to talk about mostly the personal effectiveness. Within that, I'll be talking about what does it mean by personal effectiveness, what are the components, sources of personal effectiveness, dimensions of personal effectiveness, and then how it is related to self-confidence. And then I'll be talking, while talking about different dimensions, I will be talking about stress and stress management and time management, and then there will be conclusion like how personal effectiveness and self-confidence are related, and to what extent they can affect each other. But before moving further, I would like to ask you people, what do you understand, like say, by effectiveness, or what is the difference between efficiency or efficient and effectiveness? Anybody, like say, what do you understand by when somebody said that, or somebody says that work efficiently or work effectively? Are they same or they have different meanings? Any volunteer? No? I mean, you can write basically if you don't want to answer, like say in a verbal form. So you can just write if you are hesitant. No? Or okay.
Yeah,
so,
participants, please participate actively, interact. Yeah, there is one in chat box. You can refer to one discussion, sir, by participant Joseph John Fernandez. Efficient, good output.
I'm not able to see the
Effective, hard work.
So my question is, what do you understand by these two terms, whether they are the same or they have different meaning?
Okay, sir, I would say they are different, but then related. Things. For example, if I say,
yes,
then maybe I put in some task and I put in a task and maybe result, talk in terms of results we achieve, the quality of results we achieve.
Yeah, very
And,
good. So quality of the result, quality of the outcome
is the effectiveness.
Effectiveness. Very good, very good. And that efficient.
Efficient is maybe doing in less time, or maybe making the most of the time available, or utilizing the best of the time, or resources available, kind of.
Very good. I list the first participant. I list it. So you got it quite effectively. I should say that the difference between the two is that one is like how the quality of the outcome, and efficiency is like whether you are able to accomplish something with less effort, and without wasting time, or without wasting much money, or without wasting effort. So here, getting result with less effort, and this effort may be that cognitive effort, or that financial effort, but the effectiveness denotes basically the quality of the outcome. So in the next slide, basically, if you see over here, so doing things right is a kind of it is a kind of manifestation of efficiency, or being efficient, while effectiveness will reflect like doing the right things, or efficiency is time driven, resource focused, activity focused. Here it's a compass driven, goal focused, people and activity based. So why I have I'm showing this slide, because we are talking about personal effectiveness. We are not talking about personal efficiency, because effectiveness is more comprehensive as compared to being efficient. Next thing is that how we can basically achieve this kind of effectiveness. So it depends on basically what kind of expectation you have from yourself. So here, that's when we are talking about personal effectiveness, we are basically talking about ourselves. It is an individual focused activity. So depending on the expectation you have from yourself will decide whether you will be effective in doing any activity or accomplishing any activity or not. So if you see here in the PPT slides, there can be what you don't want, or whether you are focusing on what you don't want, or you are focusing on limitation, or you are focusing on problems. On the other hand, whether you are focusing on what you want, what are the possibilities available, whether you see any problem or any challenge as opportunity, that will decide whether you will be effective or not. So in order to be effective, you have to have a specific expectation from yourself. Then comes there are three elements which are quite important, and that these three things decide whether you will be effective 100%, or there will be some lacuna or some shortcomings while accomplishing anything. So if you see over here, there is a direction, there is a map, and there is an execution. So if you are clear about your direction, in a way you can accomplish 30% of your goal. Map basically it refers that what is the plan or action you are taking in order to complete or in order to accomplish any task. And then execution. So we know that what does it mean by execution? Execution is quite important, and it basically it makes any task successful up to 40%. So direction, map, and execution, these three components or three activities decide whether you will be effective in doing or in order to accomplish any task or not. So now the question arises, what does it mean by personal effectiveness, or what is your understanding? So as already mentioned, that when we are talking about personal effectiveness, we are we are focusing on individual. We are not focusing on group or diets. So if you see over here in the PPT slides, that personal effectiveness basically refers, or it belongs to or affecting a particular person rather than anyone else. Most of the time we are talking about either individual, the individual is talking about himself or herself, or some other individual. We never talk when it comes to person, as name suggests, basically that personal effectiveness. Personal effectiveness is quite instrumental, in success in producing a desired or intended result, and it is also quite instrumental in making use of all personal resources at one's disposal to enable one to achieve life goals. This, one of the main component of personal effectiveness is basically fit between individuals' capabilities, individuals' talent, or individuals' resources. So resources over here may mean either physical resource, financial resource, cognitive resource, or it can be any kind of resource. So whether there is a fit or match between that qualities and abilities of an individual with the goal, or in the achievement of goal. So if there is a fit, then we can say that the person is effective. If there is a mismatch between either personal qualities or the kind of goal is achieved, if it is not commensurate or it is not matching between this that personal qualities and the kind of goal achieved, then we cannot say that person is effective in completing any task. It can be considered as a suboptimal performance. So if you see over here, there are 4 things, but we'll be discussing these things time and again during my presentation, that ownership, execution, discipline, and learning agility. So I will come to these factors again. Here it is just like that. Just understand that these 4 skills are important in order to have effective effect on accomplishing any task or any goal. Then comes to in another way, as already mentioned, that personal resources, whether individual is utilizing his or her energy well, whether he or she is using his or her skill adequately and motivated to develop and reach the goal. And there are several factors, or you can say components, which denote that whether individual is able to work or accomplish a task effectively or not. So understanding self and achievement of goal, what does it mean? That in order to be effective, one should understand himself or herself. Without understanding self in terms of what kind of qualities or limitations I have, that will decide whether I will be able to achieve a specific goal or not. Then it also helps in career advancement. It also create a conducive environment to perform any day-to-day activity, or it can be related to career, or it can also be it is also contributing factor towards organizational effectiveness as well. and it enhances basically respect for fellow being, and it also helps in understanding other member of in the family, and it triggers, or you can say it is quite instrumental in producing superior work. So there are 5 steps to personal effectiveness. If you can see the first component over here, it says that digit. What does it mean by digit? Digit: think hard before committing to undertake a new task. Urgent tasks can be deceptive and are often unimportant or don't relate to your objective. It can be any kind of objective. So, if somebody wants to be effective in his or her activities, one should understand the problem at hand or the goal at first. Individual should understand the problem or the what exactly is the goal. If it is important and urgent, then individual should try to finish the task first and then going to next task. If it is urgent but not important, yeah, you can do it. The third scenario can be that an individual can the task can be important but not urgent, or it can be neither important nor urgent. So most of the time it so happens that the task which is not important, it is not urgent, even then individual spends a lot of time and effort to complete or to complete that activity, and in doing so individual basically does not remain effective. It is a kind of wastage of time and energy. So as an individual who is trying to be effective, he or she should consider the nature of the task or the issue related to that task, and then try to perform depending on the urgency or importance of the task. Then second step is automate it. Automate the task or part of the task that you can set up templates, use automation feature of like here it's the business related activity. So you can make a mechanism through which if the task is not that complex and urgent, you can automate it. Then basically the third situation is that you can outsource a problem or a task which is not very urgent. And then the fourth one is to delegate the task so that you can save time and energy for urgent and important tasks. So basically either you can digit the task which is not important and urgent, you can automate if it is not very urgent, or you can outsource another person, or you delegate the task, or if it is urgent and important, you have to do it. If you are going to do like this, you will be more effective. Then next question arises: why personal effectiveness? Why this issue is important? So basically, it has been observed through various researches that personal effectiveness leads to a fulfilled life. So in your previous lectures, that art of life, you must have learned that it is very important to have a fulfilled life. So if you are effective, you are basically creating conducive environment for yourself as well as for other individuals. You feel competent, you feel confident, and in doing so, you are basically spending your time and energy judiciously so that you are not overburdened. So, and if you are putting premium on personal effectiveness, you can accomplish a lot of things with limited resource, limited in a very short period of time. And that is why personal effectiveness is very important. The next slide, I'm going to talk about different skills, like say skills of personal effectiveness. So there are like say those individuals who are highly effective, they have different body language, and they when I'm saying that different body language, what I am trying to say that they are not like say they look quite friendly. They're even in your non-communication class or session, you must have learned that the role of non-verbal communication. In that, your gesture, your body movement, the way you sit in front of another individual, they basically they contribute towards towards personal effectiveness. So if you look friendly, if you look cooperative, then you can accomplish more as compared to when you look hostile or your body language is hostile. It's altogether different. It gets different connotation of your behavior, even though you are not saying anything verbally. Then the next skill in order to develop this personal effectiveness is active learning. And in our day-to-day activities, that listening is quite important. And nowadays, due to that, several factors contribute that we are not good listener. We are having now short attention, so we are always in hurry. So in order to be effective, it is good to be a good listener. Then in order to perform tasks with less resource and to perform the task which can yield that you can successfully complete the task, it is good to have goal setting. If you know your goal, whether the goal is short term or whether goal is long term, then accordingly you have to invest your time and other resources to achieve the goal. If you don't know the kind of the goal, what kind of goal you have, you are basically running in a in dark room, you can say. Then time management is important, and actually I'm going to discuss this issue in detail. Time management is another important component towards developing effectiveness, because if you are say time is non-renewable, like say if it is gone, it is gone. So those individuals who are high on personal effectiveness, they use time quite judiciously. And the next component is being proactive. So what does it mean by being proactive? Proactive means that you don't wait for something to happen and then you react. Proactive person, they think before doing anything, or even though if that something is not very pressing, but still they can foresee that in future or in few days this issue is going to become quite difficult. So they develop the habit of being proactive, and it enhances effectiveness. Then assertive behavior. Now you can say that while discussing body language, you are saying that okay, it is good to have that cooperative and friendly gesture. Now you are saying assertive behavior. So being friendly and cooperative does not mean that you should not stick to whatever you want to do. So assertive behavior means you have to stick to your goal. it should not be the case that you should, like say, forego your goal once if there is some hurdle, or if somebody is not very positive towards your goal. So you have to stick to your goal. And then relationship and trust at work or in the family. So trusting behavior, if you are trusting either at your with your friends or at work, it basically reduces a lot of effort, or you can do a lot of things quite smoothly, and it enhances your personal effectiveness. And then stress management, like say, stress is ubiquitous in our life. Like say, every moment is stressful in a way, but it doesn't mean that you cannot manage stress. I will discuss in detail that how stress, what does it mean by stress, the different types of stress, and how you can manage stresses which you confront in your day-to-day life. And if somebody is capable of managing stress, it enhances basically his or her personal effectiveness. Then communication skill in your even I have been told that there are 3 components of this that series of lecture, that effectiveness and art of life and communication. Effective communication is one of them. So you have already had this both kinds of session, that verbal and non-verbal. So I'm not going to stress upon too much on this communication, but communication skill is very important to have, like say, like effective or to develop personal effectiveness. So next I'm going to talk about different sources, but I'm just going to like say I have already discussed some of them. So I'm not going to elaborate on this thing, but later on, like say, while discussing dimension, I will be discussing this issue in detail. So that positive impact setting of goal, which I have already mentioned, trust factor, which I have already mentioned, that if you are with your family, friends, or at work, trust is one of the important factor in enhancing personal effectiveness. Then self-mastery, or it is also related to self-confidence, which I will discuss in detail shortly. And then workplace etiquette, communication, which I already mentioned, time management, stress management, and the ability for conflict resolution. And another important issue, which is quite effective in enhancing personal effectiveness, is addressing emotions. So if you know, like say, your emotion, or if you can identify your emotion and emotion of another person, you can basically resolve a lot of conflict, and you can enhance not only your personal effectiveness, but other person's effectiveness at the workplace or in social life. Then you have to be being proactive is also enhances effectiveness. Begin with the end in mind, means you should have, like say in the beginning I mentioned that map, that basically map it denotes that you should have like a plan, which that plan should address from the beginning to an end what is going to happen. So you have a kind of a blueprint how you are going to accomplish a specific task, and it enhances your personal effectiveness. But first thing first means I already mentioned this issue as well, that if any task which is urgent and important, you have to do it first. Otherwise, you can ditch it or delegate it, or you can automate it. Think win-win means you should not be pessimistic. You should always be optimistic in order to have, like say, to develop personal effectiveness. Seek first to understand, then to be understood. So that is very important. Basically, source of personal effectiveness, you have to understand yourself first. Only then you will be able to understand another individual or another person. And then synergize. Like it's a kind of developing empathy or compassion for another individual, another person, and again it enhances personal effectiveness. And then sharpen the means whatever abilities you have to basically now and then you have to refine, you have to basically sharpen it. Any whatever skill you have through, like in this training, you are basically sharpening yourself because you are trying to get more knowledge, which will enhance your understanding about yourself and others, about others' emotion and others' temperament or mental state, which will help you to act effectively. Then next thing I'm going to talk about that dimension of personal effectiveness. So there are basically 4 dimensions of personal effectiveness. One is self-discovery, second is self-esteem, third is goal setting, and the fourth is stress management. So first I would like to discuss about what does it mean by self-discovery. So the self-discovery is the act or process of gaining knowledge or understanding of your abilities, character, and feeling. So question like who am I, what am I, and how am I? So if you have this that answer of these questions, you are actually on the path of your self-discovery, and it is one of the important dimension of personal effectiveness. So if you see over here that how this self-discovery happens, so there is a self-development, there is a self-mastery, and then there is a self-actualization, and then you reach to self-discovery. So it is one of the important dimension of personal effectiveness. One thing I would like to ask, do you have any question or doubt or clarification so far? It should not be like, say, just one-way communication.
Clear so far, sir.
Okay, thank you. But like anybody can stop at any stop me any moment, and if you have any question, please ask. I'll be happy. So so basically that as I already mentioned that this is self-discovery is one of the important component, and that self-discovery happens once you develop yourself self, and then you develop mastery of self, and then you have the self-actualization and then self-discovery. The second component of self-esteem, second dimension of personal effectiveness is self-esteem. So self-esteem is basically your worth in your eyes. Like how do you rate yourself? And that is your self-esteem. Like there are individuals who are having low self-esteem, and there are people who are high on self-esteem. It has been observed through different researches that individuals who are high on self-esteem will develop personal effectiveness. If individual is low on self-esteem, that person basically develops different kind of maladaptive behavior, and the person thinks that first of all he or she will not be able to develop personal effectiveness out of apart from that the person start developing different kind of maladaptive behavior. So like a person who is low on self-esteem will never, or you can say will not be able to develop personal effectiveness, because the person will think that he or she is not capable of accomplishing any given task, because first of all he or she rates himself or herself as the person who doesn't see his or her worth in his or her own eyes. So high self-esteem is one of the contributing factor towards developing personal effectiveness. So now that what are the factors in self-esteem? If you see over here that family environment is one of the component or one of the factor in developing self-esteem. Task proficiency and accomplishment. So if somebody is able to perform task efficiently and can take credit of whatever he or she is doing, it ultimately leads to high self-esteem. Then the kind of personal expression somebody is having is also contributing factor towards developing high self-esteem. And then self-belief. And another factor which leads to high self-esteem is academic achievement. It has been observed basically that those students who are not doing good in academics, they develop low self-esteem. Even the physical appearance is also important, and it leads to development of a specific kind of self-esteem, low or high, depending on the interpretation of physical appearance. So it has been observed that particularly adolescent, they are very particular about physical appearance, and if they interpret that their physical appearance is not in consonance with the prevailing prevailing norm, then they develop low self-esteem towards their physical appearances. And feedback from other people, it is also one of the important component or factors in development of self-esteem. Actually, there is a theory in sociology, it is called the looking glass self. So the looking glass self theory says that we know about ourselves from others. So if somebody says that you are quite intelligent, or you are quite good at this particular task, or you are very cooperative, or you are very empathetic, things like that, you actually start believing that I am that kind of person. So feedback from other person or people is quite important in order to develop self-esteem. So as I already mentioned that the kind of self-esteem or the level of self-esteem will determine whether individual will develop personal effectiveness or not, because self-esteem is one of the component of personal effectiveness, and it is quite intuitive as well that if you don't see your worth in your own eyes, you will not be able to perform anything effectively in your day-to-day activities, because you think that you are not worthy of anything. So that is about that relationship between self-esteem and personal effectiveness. Then comes the third component or third dimension of personal effectiveness, and it is basically goal setting. Though I have already discussed about goal setting very briefly while discussing the sources, but it is one of the important dimension of personal effectiveness, and I would like to just elaborate a little bit on this. So what does it mean by goal setting? An action plan designed to motivate and guide a person or group towards a goal is called goal setting. And the goal setting process basically is the process that gives the clear roadmap to reach the goal. So if you know your goal, or how to reach the goal, or if you have that plan map, then you know that from X I have to go to Z, or I have from A to Z. But if you don't know your goal, if you don't set your goal, like you may not be able to perform the task, no matter how easy is the task, because you are not sure about your goal. Then just like self-esteem, it can be low and high. Similarly, that goal can be personal or it can be professional. Goal can be short-term or goal can be long-term as well. So the difference between personal and professional goal, like sometimes it so happens that individual is not very sure that whether it is his personal goal or professional goal, and in doing so, he or she mixed up both the personal life and professional life, and person becomes kind of less effective because he is in conflict or he is not very sure about his or her goal. So goal setting is one of the important milestone in order to develop personal effectiveness. The next slide is basically talking about like why goal setting. So that there are 4 reasons basic that it gives long-term vision and short-term motivation. So if you know the goal, like it provides a long-term vision that how you have to reach to that goal, and it also motivates an individual to achieve a stated goal. And if you know that how much time or how much effort it is required to accomplish or to reach the goal, it gives positive energy, and it provides a kind of environment which looks quite conducive to achieve the goal, even though the goal may not be that easy. But if you have that goal, clear-cut goal, then it becomes easier to achieve the goal. And then why goal setting is important? Because it gives clarity on the purpose of life. Why you have that kind of goal, and for what purpose you want to accomplish a specific task. It provides clarity on the purpose of life, and it helps realize dream and vision. So if you know your goal, mostly what happens that people are not very sure about their goals, and due to that they are kind of they are not very effective in achieving the goal. So when I'm saying that, okay, it looks quite confusing, that if you don't have clear-cut goal, you may not achieve it, and it may have impact, or it will have basically impact on your personal effectiveness. Your perception towards whether you can do something will have basically negatively impacted by the absence of, or just because there is no clear-cut goal. So that's why having clear-cut goal is important to achieve that goal, and to have that effective habit which will consequently develop personal effectiveness as well. So they say that you should have this smart way of, or smart basically smart way of to develop a goal. So what does it mean by a smart goal? Here it means that your goal should be specific, it should be measurable, it should be attainable, it should be realistic, and it should be time bound. So if your goal is not clear or basically specific, you may lose track, and you may not be able to neither set the goal, or not you will not be able to achieve the goal. So set real numbers with real deadlines, means you should have very clear, very specific goal in order to achieve it. Then that if you cannot measure anything you will not be able to understand it. So if you don't know what does it mean by accomplishing a task, what is the parameter of saying that you have completed the task successfully. So if there is no measurement, your goal will not be clear. Then the third component of a smart model of goal is that it should be attainable. If it is not attainable, so one thing I would like to mention from this achievement literature, that those individuals who are, like say, high achievers, they don't set goal which is too high or too low. They set goal which is optimal. So if you are not setting the goal which is attainable, then there will be self-handicapping. I like to ask one question. Do you understand what does it mean by self-handicapping? Anybody, any participant? I'm not saying that you don't know, but just question. Hello? Are you listening me?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, so I'm asking participant that whether they understand the concept of self-handicapping. Okay, so let me explain it. So basically, it is with the context, in the context of attainable goal. So suppose if somebody set the goals which is quite high, like say, which is beyond his or her capacity, and if the person is not able to achieve the goal, he has the kind of defense mechanism that since it was that the goal was quite high, due to that I am not able to achieve, and nobody is going to blame that person. Or if the goal is too easy, then anybody can achieve it. So there is no there is no role of personal effectiveness, or there is no challenge. So it is easy to achieve it. So it has been observed that those who are high on high need for achievement, they set neither too complex or too high goal or too easy. So neither very difficult goal nor very easy goal. Similarly, those who want to have this, wants to have personal effectiveness, they should set the goal which is neither easy nor difficult. It should be that moderate level of difficulty. So one should not set the goal which is quite difficult or quite easy, because if it is easy, your role is not there. Like say, there will be no challenge, so you will not able to learn anything. Then the fourth component of goal setting is that it should be realistic. So you should be honest with yourself. You know what you and your team are capable of, and therefore it should be realistic. And then the fifth component of that goal setting model is that it should be time bound. It should not be the case that you set the goal and there is no limit. It can take 1 month, 1 year, or 10 years. So that a smart model of goal setting is that it should be specific, measurable, attainable, realistic, and time bound. Now I'm going to move to that what are the components of personal effectiveness. So the first component is determination, self-confidence, persistence, managing stress, which I will discuss in detail later, problem solving, creativity, and generating ideas. So I am going to take one by one. So determinism. What does it mean by determinism? Determinism, if somebody is determined that I have to accomplish this specific task, and a person who does not have determination, like it has been observed that those who are determined, they achieve the goal, they accomplish the task. So why determinism is important? Because it allows to focus only on achieving a specific goal without being distracted. So determined goal, or that if somebody is determined, it basically avoid distraction. So individual is focused and invest energy and time to a specific task. Then prioritization of the task. That if somebody is determined, the that second task will be to prioritize whatever tasks are there in order to achieve the goal or to accomplish a task. So let's say one can start with the easy, then moving towards like say increasing difficulty. Can be cultivated by determinism can be cultivated by self-discipline. Then comes to second component of personal effectiveness is self-confidence. So self-confidence is assurance in your own abilities, knowledge, judgment, and power. That if you feel that you are competent in doing something, it basically enhances your confidence. So if you see the PPT slide, it is an attitude that gives you positive views of yourself and your abilities. So it is like trusting yourself. So if you see in this picture that positive attitude towards yourself, body language, language use and content, that habitual behavior, and so on. So that self-confidence is basically directly related to personal effectiveness. So that self-confidence is the knowledge that you can do something and do it well. There are three levels of that self-confidence: low, optimal, and high confidence. Actually, there is a danger in low and high confidence. So if somebody is like having low confidence, that it is not going to contribute towards personal effectiveness or accomplishing any task successfully. Or if somebody is having high confidence, then there is a chance of error and individual may not be able to successfully complete the task. And therefore, researchers basically recommend optimal level of confidence, which basically contribute towards personal effectiveness. If you see that the relationship between the two, that self-confidence and personal effectiveness. So if you see this side, performance accomplishment, vicarious experiences means observational learning, verbal persuasion, physiological state lead to confidence expectation, and it gets reflected into behavior like choice, effort, persistence, and it also affects thought pattern, goals, worry, and attribution. So I have like attribution is like whether you interpret your behavior in a positive term or negative term. Like if you perform some task successfully, whether you are going to assign your behavior as internally caused or it was due to luck or external cause. So if you feel that it is internally caused, means that individual is capable of performing or accomplishing a specific task, and if individual believes that that the successful task is due to external factor, that luck or easiness of the task, or somebody was kind of favoring you, it is an external attribution. And basically these things leads to personal effectiveness. Then comes to that the third component is that persistent. Component, not dimension. So persistence. Persistence keep you moving forward regardless of emerging obstacles. It reduces the cost of overcoming obstacles, can be developed with the help of self-discipline. So persistence means no matter if there is even failure, but individual will remain persistent to carry out that task. And it has been observed that if individual is persistent, then it automatically lead towards development of personal effectiveness. Then comes to problem solving. Problem solving is also one of the important component of personal effectiveness. So problem solving skill, like if you see this PPT slides, there are five subcomponents. That is finding problem, identifying causes of the problem, generating solution, then implementing solution, and then evaluating success, whether you are successful in solving the problem or not. So if you are successful in problem solving, then it leads to development of personal effectiveness. The next slide is basically about the creativity. Creativity is the development of novel and useful, like it can be either product or it can be idea. So if any idea or product which is novel or useful, it is called the creativity. But I like to mention that creativity does not always mean positive. That's why I just mentioned that usefulness and novel. There, recent studies have shown that there are three kinds of creativity. One is called positive creativity. Second type is called that negative creativity, and the third one is called malevolent creativity. So positive creativity always leads to positive outcome. So like development of medicine or vaccine during Corona period. Negative creativity is like intention is not to harm, but to develop a novel thing which can help, helpful to the person who has developed this negative creativity. So one example can be that students use cheating in the examination. The intention is not to harm another person, but to gain something by developing novel ways of that cheating. The third one is called malevolent creativity, which is basically intention is to harm another individual, so that terrorist or basically those people who are anti-society, they generally develop this negative, that malevolent creativity. The intention is to harm another individual by developing novel ways to harm them. So if you see, we know that creativity has five stages basically: preparation, incubation, illumination, and evaluation. So if individual is able to develop or to identify novel ways of accomplishing a task, it will ultimately lead towards development of personal effectiveness. Then that next component is generating ideas, which is related to basically creativity, where even there the idea is to develop new novel ideas in order to accomplish a task. Similarly, there's generating ideas, like how many ideas you can generate for one problem, how many novel ways you can solve this specific problem. Then comes to self-motivation. And self-motivation is basically how to motivate yourself consistently and persistently, and that will determine whether that will determine towards personal effectiveness. So self-motivation is very important. So it is not good that you always criticize yourself. And sometimes you be like say sympathetic to yourself that okay, whatever is happening, ultimately everything will be okay, or I will take care of that. And that is very important. So you have to be very sympathetic towards yourself as well. Some people are very critical to themselves, and that is not good. It basically hampers towards the development of personal effectiveness. All right. So what I would suggest that we can take, now it is 2010, we can have that 4 or 5 minutes break and then we'll start again. Is that okay?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So
Yes.
maybe after let's keep just 4 minutes.
Sure, sir.
Okay. All right.
Participants, I would like to take the opportunity here to talk about the offline session that we are going to have. That is going to be from Monday, 21st November. And you have to be there in Sardar Patel College of Engineering from 9 a.m. So 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. We have already shared the schedule with all of you. We request you all to be there on time. There were 1 or 2 participants, those who asked whether they can attend online. No, you cannot attend online because this entire FDP is in a hybrid mode, where the first session, that is the first week, was online, and it is mandatory to be offline for the second week. If you require any assistance with the address or anything, you can contact me. You can contact Professor Ankit Asher. You can also contact Dr. Kiran Bole. We are all available here. If you have any query related to that, maybe in these 5 minutes, we can help you resolve those queries. Yes, Nargis ma'am, please speak. Hello? Yes, Nargis ma'am, tell me. Ma'am, you're not audible. Nargis ma'am, I'm not able to hear you. Ankit and Dr. Kiran Bhole, I request both of you to be here for these 5 minutes. Yes, Nargis ma'am, can you speak?
Ma'am.
Nargis ma'am, you're not audible. You can otherwise put your query in chat box.
Madam, it seems your network is not good. You can just type it in the chat box. Any other person who has a query? Dr. Sandeep? Dr. Sandeep Patil?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
As you have.
Hello.
So as you have.
Am I audible, ma'am? Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Yes, ma'am. I'm trying on that actually.
Okay, sir.
Okay, sir. Yeah, I will keep you informed.
Sure, sir.
Sure, sir.
So shall we begin?
Yes, sir, we can begin.
Okay.
I'll answer the, Joseph sir, I'll answer your question later. Nargis ma'am, I'll answer your question later.
All right. So welcome back. So the next component of personal effectiveness is stress and stress management. And if you see the PPT slide, the word stress comes from Latin word stingere, which means to embrace, to injure, and that gave birth to French word de-stresses, and to English word stress. The latter signify the notion of compulsion, of force, of solicitations, and designates any aggression coming from the environment or any tensional mood created by that. But what exactly, like say, the word stress denotes? So stress can be defined or it can be understood as like a normal reaction the body has when changes occur, resulting in physical, emotional, and intellectual responses. So the assumption in like say general public is that the stress is always harmful. That is not the case. Actually, is without stress, like it is, life is not possible. So if somebody is alive, there will be stress, and there are different kind of stressors, like basically entity which causes stress is called stressors. So it can be either environmental condition, social, physical, or it can be cognitive. So the first person who developed the idea that how somebody develops stress or how somebody experiences stress was Hans Selle. And if you see that this picture, so in day-to-day activities, we face different kind of stressors. That once an individual experiences certain stresses, body mobilizes its resources in order to contain the stressor. However, if the stressor is for a short period of time, the body or individual can cope with the incoming stressors, or like say developing any negative experience from the stressor. However, if the stressor is prolonged or it is for a longer duration, then the body's resistance to stress can only last, like say, cannot last longer, and as a result, that second phase of reaction, which body starts defending itself from the harmful or external stressors. This second stage is called resistance stage, where body tries to cope with the stressors. However, if the stressor still continues for a longer duration, then body is no more capable of say fighting with stressors, and as a result, that whatever that reserves or whatever resources are available to the body get depleted, and as a result, individual experiences negative experience from the stressors. And as already mentioned that not all stressors are harmful or not all stressors are negative. So in the second slide, next slide, if you see over here, that there are two kinds of stress. One is called distress, and the other one is called eustress. So distress is a continuous experience of feeling overwhelmed, oppressed, and behind in our responsibilities. Means it gives negative feeling or unpleasant feeling, and individual feel uncomfortable, and like individual looks exhausted due to these stressors. But in like say in life, individual, it is not always the case that the stressor will lead to distress. It may also lead to eustress. Eustress is the other form of stress that is positive and beneficial. We may feel challenged, but the sources of the stress are opportunities that are meaningful to us. Eustress helps provide us with energy and motivation to meet our responsibilities and achieve our goals. Example can be like say promotion in the like in the job. So though like now you have to face new challenges, but this the change is not considered it is not considered negative. Like whatever, whether like say like if there is a change in life, it causes discomfort. But this discomfort can be like say interpreted in two different ways. Either it can be interpreted as distress or it can be eustress. So like there is a relationship between, or that intimate relationship between this level of stress and performance. So that if you see over here, this is the performance and then this is the level of stress. So if there is a less stress, individual is calm, but there will be low performance. The performance will not be optimal, if you see over here. But as that stress increases, it becomes eustress, means now body channelize its resources to face the challenge due to stressors. However, if level of stresses increases further, now individual starts feeling distress. And if you see over here, from like say no stress, so individual will feel bored, and then slowly if stress is increasing, there will be eustress, and then again if it is prolonged or if level of stress increases, individual starts feeling distress and performance also goes down. So in order to perform, like say in order to perform at an optimal level, one should have optimal stress as well. So if there is no stress, there will be no optimal performance. So that is why stress is not always bad. That it is bad because it is like say it is exceed our resources, or bodily resources or cognitive resources, and that is why stress is bad. On the other hand, if there is no stress, there will be no optimal performance as well. And it is not possible not to have stress. So don't think that this stress is always bad or they are not good. Basically, they act as a motivator as well. The problem arises when it becomes too much. So that is the thing. Like so, if there is a stress, an individual may decide either to fight or to flight. So if you confront stress, then you can convert it into eustress. But if you are not confronting the stress, or you are not accepting stress in a if you think that it is too much, then you have to have different response, that is flight response. So it is always better that I have already mentioned that if you have any problem, or you have to think about that what causes it. If you have stress, you have to look back like why it is so. Then probably you may be able to deal it with like say in much better way. You can increase your effectiveness as compared to if you just start thinking that it is too much. I have stress. Some people have this habit of saying that I am under stress without looking at that why it is so, how you can overcome it, and so on. So if you see over here that there are stressors from the environment, it can be from environment, it can be from physiological source, it can be social source, or it may come from your own thinking, that is cognitive stresses. I'll come to that very shortly. So here, individual appraisal of the stressor is very important. So as I already mentioned just in the previous slide, that if you interpret stressors as a distress, then you develop negative attitude towards the situation, and your response will be not appropriate. It will not be optimal. You may have harmful response. But if you interpret your stressors as eustress, you will be more positive towards the situation, and you may develop adaptive mechanism to overcome the stress. So that is how you can easily overcome the stress, and you can consequently you can increase your personal effectiveness. Like these are the sources of stress, that is physiological stressors. It can be illness, menopause, injuries, hormonal fluctuation, and so on. It can be environmental stresses like noise, air pollution, traffic and crowding, and so on. Cognitive, it can be the negative self-talk, misinterpretation of the situation, catastrophizing, or being perfectionist. Like being perfectionist is not always good when it comes to mental health. Social stressors, financial problem, work demands, family demands, and so on. So these are the sources of stressors, and individual may interpret these stressors as positive or negative. Then causes of stress, the unsettling effect of change, the feeling that an outside force is challenging or threatening you. Means if you see that whatever stresses are there, they are external to you, means you don't have any control, then you start feeling distress. But if there is a stressor, and you feel that, or you interpret that you can overcome these stressors, then you don't feel stress or distress. Basically, feeling of loss of personal control, which I have already mentioned that control is important. Like say, if you feel that you don't have any control over these stressors, then ultimately you will develop distress. And these are the kind of different symptoms like headache, fatigue, gastrointestinal problem, hypertension, and so on. Then comes to like stress management skill. So there is a kind of different kinds of skills you can develop in order to cope with stress. Like meditation is one of them. You have already learned this thing during this meditation and yoga session in the previous presentation. And then you may develop friendly social network. You can develop this stress management skill by reducing the noise. Then self-limitation, like always blaming everything which goes negative to yourself. That is also not good. You should be very positive towards yourself first in order to fight stress. Regular exercise is important in order to basically control stress. Healthy diet, quality sleep, and time management. So these are the skills which one can use in order to manage stress, which consequently lead to better personal effectiveness. There are different techniques basically to overcome stress. So identify sources of stress. Even though there is a problem, you shouldn't basically get fixated. Manage your time in much better way. Like say, you just divide your time for the different things so that you should not be overwhelmed. And then replace unhealthy coping strategy with healthy ones. Means you should not have self-defeating behavior where you always blame yourself, or you may have like a lot of negativity towards yourself. Connect with others. When I say connect with others, it should be the quality connect. Nowadays, like on social media, people have 100 or 500,000 friends, but you don't have quality, good friend. And even if you have one good friend, that is sufficient basically to manage your stress. And then practical the four A's of stress management. What are the 4 A's? Basically, avoidance of unnecessary stressors, change your thought process. It is not the accept and adopt. So there are 4 A's: avoid, alter, accept, and adopt. So avoidance of unnecessary stressors, altering your thought pattern, acceptance of the situation. Sometimes it is good to accept whatever is coming to you, because you don't have control over the situation. So just accept that, okay, this is going to happen, so what? And then adapt to the changing situation. So that is how you can manage your stress. The next component of personal effectiveness is time management. So what does it mean by time management? It is basically planning, organizing, and dividing your time for specific activities. I already mentioned that whether it is a time management or it's a stress management or developing personal effectiveness, setting clear goals is quite important. So if you don't have clear-cut goal, you may not be able to, let's say, either manage time or to develop personal effectiveness, or to develop even efficient mechanism to work in day-to-day life. Planning processes and resources to achieve goal, you have to be very specific about your planning, and whatever resources you have, you should have a clear-cut knowledge that what kind of resources you have, and accordingly you have to plan. Decision to prioritize your goals, which I have already mentioned the previous slide, describing previous slides. Scheduling activities and identifying resources. So like you have to schedule basically whatever you want to do at a let's say a specific moment in time. Identify potential obstacles and problems in order to manage your time. Keep track of your time. So like you have to see that at what time you have to perform a specific task. So you have to very careful about that. Now I'm going to talk about different attributes of time, which I have mentioned a little bit in the previous slides, that everybody has finite amount of time. So it is not that if somebody is managing time, it doesn't mean that the person is having more or less time than you. So everybody has finite amount of time, and it is same for everybody. It is non-renewable resources. So if it is gone, it is gone. So you have to be very basically careful about time management. It cannot be replaced, it cannot be saved, or it cannot be overspent. Either use it or waste it. So that is why time management is quite important, not only to perform day-to-day activities, but also towards development of personal effectiveness as well. So I have already discussed this slide, the previous one. I'm not going to basically repeat it. I have already mentioned that if any work is urgent and important, what you are supposed to do. If there is an urgent work but not important, what you are supposed to do. So basically, whether it is a goal setting or personal effectiveness or time management or even stress management, this model is quite important. Like say, you can use this model towards development of personal effectiveness, goal setting, and even time management and stress management. So then like that is if urgent and important, do it right away so you can save time. If it is not urgent but important, do it soon but not right away. Then if it is urgent but not important, delegate or reschedule it. Not urgent, not important, avoid or ignore. So that is how you can save time. Why people are not able to manage time? Just because sometimes it so happens that the things which is not important or are not urgent, even then people start doing it, and consequently they waste a lot of time, and it has cascading effect on other activities, and consequently it affects personal effectiveness as well. Then comes to why managing time. Why it is important that one should manage time. Basically, if you are able to manage time properly, then you can increase productivity, you can increase energy level, you can manage stress quite easily. You can organize things quite effectively, and it is easy to accomplish task. And you can not only accomplish the task, but you can accomplish a task within a short period of time. And it also helps. Managing time is also helpful towards developing positive relationship, which consequently helps or basically enhance health, and which is ultimately affects personal effectiveness. Means there will be like say increase in personal effectiveness if you are able to manage time effectively and properly. On the other hand, if somebody has poor time management skill, then it will lead to low productivity. Individual will feel all the individual are like say will feel exhausted all the time. There will be kind of more distress. There will be disorganization or there will be disorganized behavior, whatever he or she is doing, and individual will not be able to accomplish the task within a stipulated time. And as a result, that whatever he is doing, it will take long time, which will affect not only his personal his health, but his personal relationship. And it has been observed that even if there is a stress, an individual is able to manage whatever task he or she is doing within stipulated time, it is not only increase that personal relationship, but one can avoid illness as well. Probably you must be aware that around like say 75% of diseases they are called psychosomatic disease, and they are the result of like say your like individual's thinking, which affects human body. So thinking affecting human body, and it is basically one of the component, or it is also related to time management. So time management is very important, not only to accomplish day-to-day activities, but it also affects that personal effectiveness. And if individual feels effective in whatever things he or she is doing, it affects like say every like say basically walk of life, health, social relationship, physical well-being, psychological well-being, everywhere, even financial matter as well, because if somebody is able to manage time effectively, he is going to be more productive, which will result into better financial behavior, which will lead to like it will have cascading effect. So it is one of the like say important component of personal effectiveness. So that is it from my side. Thank you for listening me, and I'll be happy to answer your question if you have any question. So I think we can start our question answer session.
May I request the candidates to please put up their questions?
Even you can write, like say.
Yes, you can even put it in the chat box. Sir, I have a question.
Yeah, please.
You said that copying in the examination is creative.
Yes.
Okay, so can you please explain me more about
yes,
this?
Yes. Okay. Good that somebody asked this question. So as I already mentioned that there are like creativity does not always mean that it will be useful for everybody, or it will be novel for everybody. Creativity can be positive, negative, and malevolent. So when I mentioned that copying in the exam, so the purpose over here is that in like say students develop novel ways or novel technique to cheat so that they can get away with. But the intention is not that intention is not to harm another individual. They want to maximize their basically achievement. So they develop novel mechanism or novel ways of cheating. So it is a creative process. And since it is not that the purpose is not to harm another individual or other fellow student, it cannot be called malevolent, but it is a creative process. Or another example can be that breaking the line in such a way that like you say something or you behave in some way that everybody may allow you to pass and go ahead in the line or in the queue.
Sir, but then how do you treat this? Because this kind of a creativity is not accepted.
No, but it is there in the society, and it is in a way it is not harmful because the intention is not to harm another individual. The goal is not to harm another person. Whether somebody is cheating, don't look from the ethical perspective. Yeah, cheating is always bad or it is not good because it is unethical.
Right.
But I'm just look from the perspective of creativity. Creativity means creating something which is novel and useful. So anything can be creative if it has these two components: ideas, behavior. It can be like anything which has these two components will be called as creative.
Okay, sir. Sir, I think Professor Praveen Kurian has raised his hand. Professor Kurian, you can ask your question.
Yeah, I got.
I was also.
Yeah.
I was also about to ask about the same thing regarding the ethical aspect of the same. So even you mentioned something about that.
Yeah.
If somebody is copying, it's unethical only, right?
Yeah,
even if it is creative.
Yeah, it is. Though it is creative, but it is unethical. But the process is creative. In that way, the person who is who created this atom bomb or hydrogen bomb, it is not ethical in a way, because
exactly.
Yeah, or the person who is basically created AK-47. So it is not ethical, but it is a creative process.
Very good example, sir. Very good example.
Understood, sir. Thank you.
Okay, so Dr. Joseph, for mental health issues are a stigma in society. How can we reduce this stigma as an academician? Okay, very good question. Actually, mental health is a stigma. Like say, like if somebody is under depression or anxious or have some major mental issue, then people think that the person is they treat it very differently. Though it is just like any other disease, physical disease. You have fever, you have cold. Similarly, you have maybe you may be under depression. Actually, if you see the developed countries, it is not that stigma is not there. Even if you compare now and 20 years back, there is a lot of change. Now, like people have started accepting that mental health issue can be there without attaching any negative connotation. So, awareness is one of the important weapon in a way that you can. Awareness is needed among masses that it is like just any other kind of disease. So if somebody has any mental health issue, it doesn't mean that it has something negative or some negative in this. Like it is not good, but it is not. It should not be stigmatized because it is just like any other disease. So awareness is the only thing. Even 2017 and 18. Government of India has basically there is a one act which basically it is talking about like how we should take care about mental health issues. Probably you may not know, but every 6th person in India is under depression. So pre-COVID time, that there was one study where, like say, in a way, we are the kind of largest number of we are having the largest number of depressed cases in the world. So because it's a big country, we are now number one probably by next year. So we need to take care of this mental health issues. But awareness is the only mechanism. Dr. Joseph, yeah. Yes, that another question from Dr. Joseph, that ragging becoming popular, and so lot of issues in institute. Actually, it is going the other way around. Now, there is a lot of restriction. Even I can tell you about IT Bombay, that first year student, that second and third year student are not allowed to meet for a certain period of time. Just so we are here quite strict about the ragging. Even now, some universities they have that special step to curb this kind of ragging, but it is still there. So it is basically the responsibility of the institute to take care of such activities. Dr. Joseph. Yeah, thank you. Something about personal effectiveness. Nobody is asking.
Sir,
Yeah,
there a little bit about the stress management.
yeah,
Where you have mentioned some stress is required in optimum way so that we can work in an efficient way.
yes.
But there needs to be some thin line between over stress and how to actually manage all those things, because sometimes so many things comes together. So when if one specific task we want to do and then we think about it, it goes in a proper way with that particular stress. But if 2-3 different things comes together, then it becomes very difficult to manage that actually.
Quite true. Actually, that is what I mentioned in the very beginning when I discussed about Hans Selye, that he was the first person to describe like how somebody develops that stress. So in the, like say, if there is a one or two things which are negative, which are having negative connotation, individual may cope with that. But if it is more, like say maybe there are 4 or 5 issues at the same time, individual may not be able to cope with those situations and may develop stress or may experience stress. Actually, I have mentioned another thing, that same object or same stressors may be stressful for me, but may not be stressful for another person. So there is a kind of individual coping mechanism or coping kind of ability and the stressors. So some people may be able to cope, like say 3-4 stressors at a time, but another person may not be able to cope even one stressors. So it's a subjective interpretation of stressors. So like say, when you said that, okay, there is a thin line is basically individual's own perception about the incoming stressors. So that is why that personal effectiveness is important. That is why this topic, that those individuals who feel like say highly effective, they can deal with lot of stressors and may not feel their negative impact. So it is basically that if stressors are exceeding individuals' resources. When I say resource, means individual has like say every individual has different resources to cope with the stressors. Some have more, others have less. And that thin line is basically subjective interpretation of the intensity of the stressors. Sally, madam. Did you get it?
Okay, sir. Yeah. Thank you.
So there is a need to, that is why, like say, when I mentioned about the stress management, that individuals should have a lot of net connection and quality connection, not that social media kind of thing that individual is having 1,000 friends, but there is no real person, a real one whom somebody can confide and talk about his or her problem. So one should have quality friend, even if just one friend, that will be sufficient. Or time management is also related to that. Or like say, having good sleep, exercise, meditation, and so on. Basically developing like self, like how I am leading my life, how rich is my life. Rich means not financial richness. So that will decide like whether I will be able to manage if there are stressors in my life. So the thin line is that subjective interpretation.
Sir, I have an extension to this question. You said that, stress can be managed among students also through meditation, through yoga, or whatever, But this is Z boomers, we call this a different kind of a generation. Now, how do you make them understand that if they are failures, if they have got a lot of KTs and if they have an ear drop, now they are not ready to understand that what is the reason why they have got it. So how do you manage these students psychologically? How do you help these students? Because they are not ready to accept that it is their mistake. They have not attended lectures. They have not studied well. For them, it is like we have studied, but the professors have not given us marks. Okay, so how do you manage this situation?
Yeah, very good question, madam. And but I differ a little bit from your observation when you say that it is their mistake. Actually, the problem lies in their parents. Like say, parenting, the way we are doing parenting to our children is major culprit. So parents don't have time to be with their children. So they are learning their own. And that when, like say, they are in an impressionable age, so they are getting knowledge from that YouTube or from, like say, not reliable sources. So their worldview is quite different. And when they come across or when they confront real life, they are not able to basically cope with that. They know what are their aspirations, but they don't know how to reach the goals. So actually, they are not the only that want to be blamed. That parenting is very important.
Sir, but when you speak to the parents also, they say that we never, we have been good parents because we have PTA meeting also. And we have spoken to the parents also, where they say that the child has not, informed them about their progress. And they never knew that the child is not doing good because they have not shared the results, or they have not even told that they have, a backdrop a drop in some subject and all that. So, sir, what do you do about this? Because I'm facing a lot of problem being the first year.
Yeah, exactly. See, when I'm not blaming parents in totality, but when they say that my child has not informed me, it means they are too busy. Why they are not asking? But the problem is that we are in a kind of society where nobody has time, and like say we try to compress everything in a very short period of time. So the problem is that we are not investing time. Like say they are ready to spend money, but parents are not ready to spend time with their children. So it is a kind of failure of parenting partially, but yes, children are also responsible. Like if they are 17, 18 years years old, it is their responsibility as well. But the problem is that whatever knowledge they gain or whatever worldview they have made about the world and about themselves is not from the reliable sources. So whatever we are saying that this is the problem. No, the problem is somewhere else. It is the symptoms. Problem is somewhere else because they are developing different kind of worldview. They have different approach towards the society and to the world at large and towards themselves as well. So it is not actually their failure.
So, sir, how do you motivate these students for personal effectiveness? Like, the slides that we have seen.
Yeah.
Now, it's going to be very difficult to teach them all this. So, is there some kind of a mantra that, we can give to them that this is what is effectiveness?
Madam, there is no mantra. The mantra is the behavior we display to our children, whether they are a student or our own children, like say son and daughter. So if it is, children don't listen. They basically imitate parents' behavior or teachers' behavior. So if it is in your behavior, effective or positive thing takes time to get into the system, even children's that student system. Bad thing is very easy to learn and it gets manifested quite easily. But the good thing, it takes time. Any good thing, it takes time. So as a teacher, if you are persistent in terms of the way you want to be, to make your students, you have to start behaving that way. Whatever you want to teach them, just start behaving that way. Because that personal effectiveness or time management or stress management, you cannot teach. It is simply, you can display that, okay, this is the thing. And whether you accept or not, if you start doing that, I am 100% sure that children will learn. They may not accept, but there will be change in their behavior.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for replying. Sir, we have in the chat box a question.
Yeah, Ankit.
Professor Joseph.
Professor Joseph. This is about this Dabbawalas lost their livelihood during COVID. Now they are on cycle and not dependent on train. Can your good self elaborate? Should we follow their example? Fire in the bellies, burn stomach. As far as I understood your question, that when you say follow their example, what does it mean actually? Can you write, like, say, what does it mean by when you are suggesting that shall we follow them?
Professor Joseph, I would request you please speak.
Any job, so can you hear me, sir?
Yeah.
Audible?
Yeah.
Any job is worthwhile to do it if we can do it ethically and honestly, and then we can have a good night's sleep. Because these Dabbawalas were called by the Queen also once upon a time when they were 99.99% perfect.
Yes.
So they were effective and efficient too on both the aspects, taking TQM and Six Sigma. But now when they lost the job, they had a lot of cries to the top to the government also. But they took up this challenge among themselves, and now they're doing out fine, running on from cycles to cycles. And they think that we don't see them now. Rarely we see them in the trains also now. So they've started bringing up their own jobs by their own jobs. So that really I said that whenever there is a hitch in the stomach, fire in the belly is burns stomach. So that was the thing I wanted to think. So do you have any ideas like how if some KT students usually the students who fail off, they shine off later in their academics, but those who are top rankers, they struggle in their life later on. So maybe any aspects, so this is what I wanted.
Yeah, got it. So the one thing is that generalization is not kind of appropriate everywhere. Like say when you say that shall we follow them? No, because their expertise is different, so their solution will be different. So it is not advisable that everybody should follow to like say a different mechanism. So like every problem requires a specific solution, not like say you cannot generalize. That is the first thing. And when you say that that top rankers may fail in life, it is because we are just teaching them. We are not teaching that life skill, and we call it soft skill, but nobody pays attention, and that is very important. Until unless, see, we live by our own worldview, whether like say somebody is very successful or not so successful, but the kind of worldview we develop through our during our developmental period, developmental stages or periods, we live by that only. So there is a need to understand, like we should take this thing seriously, that developing a worldview or developing or understanding self is very important in order to lead a healthy life. When I say healthy life, I'm talking about physical, mental, and social health. And the other thing is that the parameter of success is now very different. So it is my personal view that you can basically you cannot buy kind of happiness by money, but you can be unhappy if you don't have money. So like everywhere there should be a balance. So the problem is that due to our society has developed in such a way that we have a specific kind of goal to earn more money. We are not focusing on our social aspect. When I'm saying social, I shouldn't use social aspect, but our worldview. Like what is our my approach towards life? So the approach should be like how much you can help another person. It is not basically, you cannot say that, okay, it is very romantic idea helping other, but that should be the approach. And then you see the change.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Empower everyone. That is the thing.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Any more questions, participants?
I would like to ask a question. Sir, I am teaching final year BTech students, and as these students enter their final year, there is a sudden exposure to their internships, and there are a plethora of exams that they are going to give for their further studies. There is placements going on. So there is a sudden competitiveness in the batch, and because of that competitiveness, there is certain reduction in the personal effectiveness of these students. So what measures can be taken to avoid the reduction or the lessening of that effectiveness due to competitiveness amongst them? As a faculty, how we can ensure that?
Yeah, there can be the short-term goal, and there can be let's say long-term. The one is that you can tell them that basically you are competing with yourself. Nobody is is competitor in a way, whether somebody is doing internship or basically applying for a job. But saying is not going to help as such. We have to provide, or we have to create an environment where everybody is at peace. But to some extent, competitiveness is good as well. So there should not be absence of competitiveness, but it should not go beyond a certain level, like beyond a certain level. So there is a need to have that balance. Even in the family, there is a competition, but that competition is a healthy competition. That it should not go beyond, it is beyond a certain level. Dr. Ankit.
Yes, sir.
Any more questions? Sir,
Ma'am, may I?
Praveen Kurian. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah. Sir, you spoke about efficiency and effectiveness in the beginning.
Yes.
Sir, is it possible to say that efficiency is somewhat inborn and effectiveness that we need to be acquired?
As such, both are learned phenomena.
Okay.
Yeah. See, it's not that that efficiency or effectiveness are innate or inborn. No, we learn it, but the learned, like say, whether you are going to be effective or you are going to learn effectiveness or you are going to learn efficiency, it depends on your, like say, what kind of expectation you have from yourself.
Okay.
So if you think that, okay, I'm going to make a difference, then probably you are going to focus on effectiveness. But if you want to simply be successful, then probably you may focus on efficiency. That is how this efficiency and effectiveness work. But both are learned.
Okay, got it, sir. Thank you, sir.
Any more questions, participants? Sir is an expert in psychology, so if you can, take the advantage of.
Yeah, or even you can send me message as well. I'll be happy to.
Sir, if you can share your number and your email ID with the participants, so that if they are not using this platform for.
Yeah, that's why I'm not stressing that.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So at least they can get back to you if they have some kind of problem with the students, with themselves, with families, or anything. Ankit, I request you to please note down this so that we can share this later.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, I have sent it. So both my mobile number and then my email ID.
So thank you so much for sharing your mobile number as well as your email ID, because not many people do this. I highly appreciate this. Now, if there are no questions, may I request my students to please present a vote of thanks. Manam and Jan, I hope.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, Jan.
Now I would like to present a vote of thanks. I would like to thank the speaker first, Dr. Azizuddin Khan, for educating us about such important topics. Sir helped us understand how we can increase personal effectiveness by being proactive, having assertive behavior, good communication skills, body language, time management, active listening, goal setting, and stress management skills. Sir highlighted some misconception about stress as well, that stress need not always be bad, and how some amount of stress can actually act as a motivator. We have had extremely wonderful time with you, sir, and we are grateful to you for giving us your precious time. I would also like to thank all the participants for making this session very lively and interactive with your presence. I would like to express my gratitude to our principal, Dr. Mohan Murudi sir, FDP coordinator, Dr. Shamli Solanki ma'am, FDP co-coordinator, Dr. Kiran Bhole sir, and Professor Ankit Ashar sir. With this, we conclude our today's session of FDP program. From Monday, that is 21st of November, we'll be having sessions in offline mode from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. We welcome you and are very excited to see you all in person. Until then, thank you all. Good night.
Thank you all, especially Dr. Kiran, Dr. Saili, Dr. Ankit, Dr. Joseph, Jayant as well. Thanks. Good night. Bye.
Thank you, sir. Good night, sir. Thank you so much.
Shamli, ma'am, I have a query regarding the upcoming session. I mean,
yes, sir.
Offline session.
Yes, tell me.
Yeah. Ma'am, what about the schedule? Is it same as we got from the ATAL website?
Yes, sir. It's morning 9 to 5, but it's going to be 9 to 5.
Okay, I mean about the speakers, but there is a change in the initial sessions, right?
Initial sessions in the sense?
Actually, in the timetable I got from ATAL website, I think that was totally different. The name of the speakers and all those things.
Sir, that is a little different because there are some speakers whom we could not contact. So maybe there is some slight changes here and there.
Yeah. That's why I asked.
Okay, sir.
Ma'am, if you can provide me, provide us another timetable with the name of the speaker and their designation, that will be helpful.
Sir. Sure, we will do that. We will share that, sir.
Because our college people are so particular about all these speakers designation.
But it is going to be 9 to 5. You have to be in our institute.
Sometimes it is up to 5:30 as well.
So 5:30 means it's okay. Here and there.
Yes. And also, I would like to answer Praveen sir. On ATAL, the revised schedule also we have uploaded from our side. I don't know from participant side whether it is reflecting or not.
Sir, we are unable to access that.
Okay. Then we will provide it on WhatsApp group. Ankit will be providing that. Okay. We were in a thought that we have from coordinators login, like ma'am's login, we have updated all those, like. Okay. So we were under the impression that now participant would be able to see from their login, but we were not sure because we don't see from participants' login. We are not aware. So we will definitely provide through a mail as well as through WhatsApp group. Okay.
And even
that knowledge we were not having, that participants are not able to see the updated version. Okay.
Okay, sir. So along with Nargis ma'am's query, one more thing I would like to ask. In ATAL website, there is a space for attendance. I think you are able to upload our attendance in the ATAL portal, right?
Yes. After so we see now this offline is over now today. So we online is over today. Today is the 6th day, and we used to get auto-generated attendance of all the participants of this session. Soon after the concluding this session, it gets auto-generated. So we will be sharing all those to you. Okay. And then based on that, if you have any grievance, you can write to us. Okay. We will see to it and then we will resolve that as well. Okay.
Okay, sir. Yeah.
And offline is also a mandatory for all because it is blended mode. ATAL theme and the mandate is blended mode. Okay, so the offline is also equally important to attend.
Hello, sir.
Yeah.
Myself Sangeeta from third one. My question is that on Monday there is offline session from 9 a.m. So if it is that possible at afternoon, if I am not present because my duty leave on that university question exam. So
we will discuss it later, madam. Okay.
Okay. Thank you, sir.
Yeah.
Any more queries? There are one people who are outstation.
Nargis ma'am, I think you are asking, ma'am, I need to know will there be any format that will be provided to us to ensure our attendance for entire week so that we can submit it in our college as it will be provided. Yeah, attendance will be providing like whatever auto-generated, you can show all those, our mail and this attendance attached. And after all this attendance only, at fulfillment of attendance and your exam result, based on that you will be getting your certificate of attendance. So that also will do for your OD, I guess. Okay. So a certificate will get generated only if you fulfill the criteria of attendance and test result.
Extension to what Dr. Kiran Bole has said, we will not have much control on this. AICTE is monitoring the attendance as well as your participation also. AICTE is monitoring everything. So you have to be there for both modes, that is hybrid mode, online and offline. And if you have any other queries related to this, you can ask us. We are available.
Ma'am, on Monday, in afternoon session, it is written that travel visit to Govardhan village.
Professor Vilas, that is the format of AICT, and in our case, we are having the tour of our campus. We have the Nature's Park, and we have a lot of biodiversity in our nature park, so we need not to travel. It is within the campus, so don't worry about the travel in Mumbai typically. Okay, so that travel is not there. And also, Professor Vilas, I would like to bring to your notice that on Monday, Professor Sunita Gangrade from your campus, Somaya campus, is going to come for the first session, and you can coordinate with her. And Gangrade sir is also going to accompany with the madam, and madam is going to have a session on music therapy for stress management. That is the first section. So they will be coming from your campus, I guess. You can see how you can if you are coming with them together, you can plan. I mean, just for your information.
No, in the morning, I am going to college first. I have that BSc work. I am in the exam committee. So I'll be coming a little bit late.
Okay. That's fine. But just for your information, because their residence is in campus only, na? Gangrade is in campus only. Somaya campus. Okay. Fine.
But a very humble request to all of you, as it is the first day, we are going to take some pictures. I want all the participants to please be there, because it's going to be a small inauguration that is going to happen. So if you are there, it's going to be, we will be seeing each other personally. So that is a kind request from my side. Any more questions?
Ma'am, could you just tell me the nature of the test? Is it going to be online or offline kind of?
It will be on offline in the institute. Okay. And if we need, we can take online through Google Form as well. We have not formulated the thing, in a concrete way yet. And another, that is a mode of the examination, the query on mode of the examination. And another is coverage is based on all the sessions what we had, based on that only. Okay. And one more thing, all recordings will be provided to you of the online session soon, and also so that you can refer to it back, and the course material as and when they are available with the speakers, it will be shared to you as well.
Okay, sir.
Yes, sir. So mostly online. Any more queries?
Ma'am, we can see this test, in some kind of activity based as well. Sometimes we'll see that also.
Yes, sir.
But we have to plan. Yeah.
Yes, sir. We can work out that also.
That will benefit all participants, and mostly outcome based can be trapped. We will see based on that kind of. I had discussion with Professor Prasanna Gandhi. So how we can measure the effective outcomes through the activity and examination. So he has given some tips. We will discuss, and then surely we'll discuss with the participant on first day of the online as well. Don't worry, we will not be very, kind of, very, what we can say, it will be more of our discussion sort of in examination, okay, sort of things, and will not stick particularly on one-to-one kind of matching in the answers and that sort of assessment techniques. Okay. So your thoughts of the sessions and what you learn, maybe that we will be assessing. And that is what Professor Prasanna Gandhi also told with when we discussed together.
Dr. Sandeep, I think you were saying something. Please.
No, ma'am. That solved my query. Thank you.
Yeah, it's not totally a mathematical, like 2 plus 2 equal to 4, then only you are correct, sort of thing. Okay, more on philosophy, and because this course is, you have different opinions on each of the things. So, that will be assessed, and what is taught and what concluded and what we learn effectively and what way to take it ahead, that will be tested.
Okay, fine. This session. Thank you so much. Good night to all of you. We all are looking forward to meet you all in person so that we can have more discussions, more sharing, okay, and more intelligence. Thank you so much.
Thank you.